Hello dear entrepreneur and student friends. In this video, I will educate you about challenges of international project management. The project management of international projects need many considerations, like the challenges of communication, language barriers, cultural shock, and cross-cultural considerations. Any project management team must consider all these aspects before commencing an international project. Following topics will be covered in this video. Challenges of managing international projects. Cultural shock and its mitigation strategies. Selecting the best employees for international projects. Cross-cultural considerations of international project management. There are many main purposes of initiating international projects, like realization of efficiency gains, for example outsourcing some of the processes of the organization to make the cost cheaper. Search for new geographical presence, for example a company or charity looking to expand into other countries. Access to unique and scarce resources, for example some companies like EADS, European Aeronautics Corporation, have many branches throughout the world to produce new products at cheaper costs due to accessibility of raw materials locally in particular branch. Reduction of risk refers to the reduction in the risks of project management when several risk-sharing partners work at different locations for the same organization. Main reasons of international project failures. Failure to clarify and communicate goals. Political differences among the subsidiary branches. Failure to fully consider stakeholders. Lack of understanding and sensitivity to local environments and cultures. Language barriers. Challenges of managing international projects. Following are some of the challenges of international project management. Language barriers. Communication challenges. Cultural challenges. Different time zones. Proficiency in using tools. Language barriers. There are many countries in the world where English is not the generally speaking language, like China, Japan, Malaysia, France, etc. The language becomes a real barrier while managing projects with the branches in these countries, because the employees have to go through a tidy process of translation of messages in other languages. Communication challenges. It is evident after many studies that most Asian countries like China, Japan, Indonesia, etc., use the indirect communication style, while most European countries use the direct communication style. The employees working in European countries would have to face issues of communication with the employees working in Asian subsidiary branches. Cultural challenges. Most European countries are individualistic society, where the people tend to take care of themselves and their respective family members only. On the other hand, most Asian countries have a collectivistic cultural society, where people are obliged to not only take care of the family members, but also communities, societies, and groups that they belong to. This difference often creates issues in managing projects, due to different behavior and nature of employees. Different time zones. The different time zones and different style of working among the Asian and European countries often create issues to meet the deadlines in large projects. Proficiency in using tools. Different countries use different tools for analysis and testing different aspects of international projects. This can create issues of redundancy and ambiguity in the data and information. Hierarchy of different cultures. The manager working for international projects has to bother about different hierarchies of cultures as shown in the pyramid above, i.e. individual culture, professional culture, corporate culture, and national culture. The organization, engaged in carrying out the international projects, must teach its employees about some of the basics of these different cultures and their differences. Cultural shock. Every culture has different sets of attitude, behavior, beliefs, and ways of communication. An individual recognizes these differences only when he relocates to different culture. The process of understanding, adapting, and recognizing the different culture is sometimes known as cultural shock. Understanding cultural shock while carrying out international projects is mandatory from the context of project management, or otherwise the project may fail, due to inadequate knowledge and misunderstanding of the management about the dilemma of expatriate employees. Different stages of cultural shock. The honeymoon stage. An individual is often baffled by the cultural changes of the host country. He will enjoy the cultural differences for a while. The negotiation stage. After some time, negotiation stage will begin, where the individual start having stress and euphoria due to the cultural changes. The adjustment stage. In this stage, the individual will try to relax with the changing cultural circumstances. He or she will start to adapt to these changes while learning more about the host country. The mastery stage. This is the final stage, where the individual starts acclimatizing with the cultural differences. He or she will make some new friends in the office, although still missing some old friends. How to cope with cultural shocks? Learn as much as possible about the host country culture and its differences with the home country culture. Study Hofstede's six-dimensional model and other such models to understand the cultural differences by comparing the host and home country. Ask the IHRM management for a help in understanding the cultural differences of host country and any necessary considerations to adapt with the changes. Try to learn some basics of the local language if the main communication language is not English. Try to understand the difference in communication styles and ways to improve communication with foreign employees. Recruitment and selection of talent for international projects. Recruitment and selection are another major aspect of managing international projects. There are many factors that the organization has to bother about before carrying out recruitment and selection in host country. Following are some of the factors. The legislation related to employees varies across the different countries. The pool of job applicants for international projects is larger, for example parent country nationals, third country nationals, expatriates, or host country nationals. A brief job analysis and specifications must be determined before carrying out any recruitment and retention of international projects. MNCs also have to bother about the financial and economic conditions of the country while recruitment and selection. Some considerations while recruiting international talent. Cross-cultural situations need adaptation of recruitment and selection process. International HR manager has to consider the local institutional environment. International recruitment is connected with coordination between the different staffing interests. The organization must build international network so as to respond to the continued shortage of required competencies. Training the employees to handle international projects. After the recruitment and selection of employees, next step for managing international projects is to train them to carry out the project. Following are some major suggestions to train the employees. Teach some basics of the local language to the employees. Provide some basic cross-cultural training to the employees through the native trainers. Train the employees about the difference in the European and Asian cultures, like the individualistic and collectivistic culture. Train the employees about the local ethics, religious beliefs, history, art, and politics. Train the employees for how to handle the cultural shock and come out of its various stages. Cross-cultural considerations. Any international project is not successful without the maximum contribution by all the employees. Meanwhile, it is mandatory for the successful initiation of the project that all employees must understand and respect the cultural values and beliefs of the expatriates and foreign employees. Therefore, the concept of cross-cultural consideration comes into place that manages the attitude, behavior, and cultural differences of the employees for the success of the project. Cross-cultural considerations are mandatory for the project that can be taught to employees by the managers. Following steps can be helpful to implement the cross-cultural considerations. Decide initially the main language of communication. Small groups should be allowed to discuss in their chosen language. Encourage every employee in the team to make communications with other team members. Encourage written communication so that some confusions of language can be cleared. Encourage positive communication, so that the employees belonging to indirect communication style culture may not hesitate to communicate. A picture says 1,000 words, so encourage the employees to use the visual images as much as possible during the project working. So, this was my video on challenges of international project management. If you loved this video, then please like it, give a comment, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and bell icon. This will let you watch our videos instantly, whenever they are uploaded in our channel.